Shadow vs. Blaze and Kira. Murim Earth. Post-war. After a heated conversation running into Zara from the enemy fleet around 5 years prior, Blaze and Kira walk on opposite sides of the trail as they follow Zara and her protection detail. Blaze looks at Zara curiously. "Are you like a queen or something?" "Only to my people," she responds with a smile, glancing back at him as she continues to lead the way. Kira watches her and Blaze closely, her eyes narrowing slightly, then storms off ahead. A dainty voice draws Blaze's attention to a woman he hadn't noticed till then. "What's her deal?" the young red-haired female soldier asks. Blaze shakes his head. "She's jealous, I think." The young woman looks at him. "You know that means wanting what you don't have, right?" Kira hears the young woman say. Looking back, she shakes her head. "What's she doing here?" she thinks. ... After a few days' travel, they come to Zara's kingdom. At the tall stone walls 200 feet above, Blaze does a double take as Mikhail appears beside him. "Dude, this place looks awesome. Wouldn't mind meeting the owner," he says as Blaze signals to cut it out. Mikhail looks at Kira. Wait, why is she mad?" "Oh, this is Zara's kingdom," he says. "Damn it, now I wish." He stops as Kira glares at him. "Just be quiet, we're here to see Blaze's 5-year-old son Seth," she says, tearing up. Blaze hurries to her side, patting her shoulder gently. "It's okay, Kira, we'll see him soon and then," he says softly, trying to comfort her, and she pushes him away. Mikhail glances back and forth between them, clearly understanding the depth of emotion at play. Just then, a large blast erupts against the 200-foot wall and the castle's left side exploding like a 3,000-pound bomb. Blaze races against the short burst of wind and residual energy, suffering first-degree burns on his forearms. Mikhail trembles at the power behind the deceptively small blast. Zara shouts, wait, don't run in swinging at anything, Blaze. That would be our son," she says, turning to them. "Honey, come meet your father," she calls out to a young boy with black hair as he holds an energy ball. "Is that?" Zara nods. "Whose blast did you think it was?" She chuckles. "He definitely takes after you and me, sweetie," she says to Blaze, and Kira clenches her teeth. Zara smirks. "That wasn't even half of what he can do," she says as the wall begins to magically repair itself. Blaze turns to glance at Kira. "What's wrong?" She shakes her head. I can't be here. I'll be back at camp, okay?" she says, trying to suppress her anger and jealousy as she walks away. Just then a dainty voice, "I can go keep her company," the red-haired woman from earlier says. Kira looks at the young woman, grateful for her offer. "Thank you, I could use the company," she says as they walk off into the distance, leaving Blaze to join Zara and Seth. He exhales heavily, still feeling unsettled by Kira's abrupt departure. "Zara, can you not call me sweetie?" "It's not like that," he calls out as he and his brother make their way over to see Seth. After a short time, Mikhail chuckles at a private thought from Blaze. "Sure thing, buddy, let me know if you need backup." He returns his attention to Blaze, looking him up and down. "You know, with the war over and everything, it's good to see you at least have something to come home to." Blaze smirks. "You're my brother, so that makes you Seth's uncle. You have something too, well, in me and Kira." Mikhail is taken aback by the warm feeling he gets and tears up. Could I hang around too?" he asks, and Zara nods. Lena floats over to Blaze, sitting on his shoulder silently. Unseen. He pauses, taken aback by Mikhail's question. Looking at the young man for a moment, weighing his words carefully. "Well, Mikhail, you're a good guy. You saved me. So did Kira. Sorry, but Kira was the best part of everything during the war and after," he says. Mikhail flushes at the praise. "Ah, thanks, I meant what I said about being brothers. You and me and Seth, we'll always look out for each other. And if there's any way I can help make things right between you and Kira." He trails off, looking uncertain. Blaze shakes his head. "Nah, you helped a lot already and I trust her. She helped me get through everything." Zara looks at Blaze as Seth runs off to play. "So, did Kira help you with me?" she says, touching his chest, and he steps away. Lena chuckles and returns to Kira's mind, having defied her caster's wishes and spied. Blaze raises an eyebrow as Kira appears, landing a solid punch to Zara's face, dropping her to the ground. a wall nearby crumbling from the force of her punch. She looks at Blaze and hugs him, and he hugs her back. "Don't touch my best friend. I knew I couldn't leave him alone with you," she says as Zara stumbles to her feet glaring. "You bitch. Cheap shot much. If you're gonna be Seth's godmother, at least give a girl warning first." As she wipes blood from her mouth. Kira smiles. "Well, stay off my best friend. Hey now, if I didn't see you I'd be dead. Don't get too rough, Kira," Zara says, rubbing her jaw. "We're all just looking out for what's best for Seth." She glances at Mikhail, who gives her an encouraging smile. "Right, Mikhail. Yeah." Blaze's look turns to confusion. "Wait, what's really going on?" "Cuz." A pulse catches his attention and Blaze dashes behind them, creating a hastily made barrier of energy. Nearby, a condensed 500-foot wide, 50 megaton blast rocks the area. As the forces subside, he stumbles forward and drops to one knee. "Seth, stop doing energy balls and blasts for a while, son." "Okay," he says as his vision blurs and starts to go black. Kira feels the impact of the blast and Blaze's sudden drop in energy as he creates a shield around them. She is about to rush over to him, but Mikhail grabs her arm. Kicking his knee, she moves to catch Blaze. She herself also reliving the days of the nukes. Dot. 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 Blaze wakes 3 days later with Kira next to him in a bed within Zara's castle. The moment he's awake, he groans in pain but still gets up to go to the window to look at Seth and Zara playing outside. Either he's naturally really powerful or something's wrong. "'Cause that would've killed you guys," he says, walking back over to her. "I see the reason for the self-healing 200-foot walls. He needs training, but that's a lot of power for a 5-year-old just playing." Kira stands as well, nodding in agreement. "Yes, he does need training, but we must be careful. Using that kind of power recklessly could be dangerous not only to himself but to others as well." She looks at Blaze seriously. "It's important that we teach him responsibility and control along with his power." He looks at her like he did the days before the war and motions for her to follow. "So are you okay with helping our boy get control of his power as his Zara helps?" Kira nods, her expression serious. "Of course I will help. Together, we can ensure that Seth becomes a powerful and responsible wielder of his magic." She takes a deep breath, her eyes meeting Blaze's. "Just as we promised each other, we will always stand by each other and face whatever comes our way." He hugs tightly a moment and then they go down to the courtyard to find Seth playing with his puppy. "Wait, don't I know you?" Blaze says to the little black wolf-like creature. As Blaze and Kira approach, Seth looks up from playing with his puppy, a mischievous glint in his eyes. "Oh, hello Blaze, I thought you were still at war or something," he says cheerfully, seemingly unbothered by the intense event that had transpired. Blaze looks at him a moment as he sits next to him. "Do you remember the other day when you did that big explosion?" he asks him in a soft but firm voice. Seth's eyes go wide as he realizes what he's done, and he lowers his head sheepishly. "Well, I didn't really mean to, but I was practicing and I got excited and, I'm sorry," he mumbles. Blaze hugs Seth closely. "It's okay. But you can't use that much power, buddy, okay? And if you want to, Kira can help you control your energy better." He tells him, "I will, Blaze. We'll work on it together, just like we said." Seth nods seriously, then turns to Kira. "I promise I'll be more careful, Kira. Can you show me some exercises or something?" Kira smiles warmly at Seth. "Of course, Seth. But no energy blasts or beams until Blaze says you can deal," she says, holding out her hand. "Deal," Seth says, shaking it as she leads him on breath control first as they walk the courtyard. Blaze can't help look at Kira, feeling happy and warm seeing her do so well with his son. And suddenly he remembers why he's so powerful. He looks over at Zara. "All 3 of us put energy in," he thinks as he gets excited from the thought. Seth looks at Kira curiously. "What do you mean by that?" She laughs softly. "I mean, when Blaze and I practice together, we sometimes focus our energies to amplify each other's abilities. It's a thing we do to help each other get stronger or be tougher for a short time." She looks over at Blaze, seeing him resting as he watches them. Glancing at Mikhail as he flirts with Zara. Seth thinks a moment. How does it work? Can Zara and Mikhail do it too? Dot. Mikhail smiles. "So, you never did tell me, Zara. Were you flirting back on that ship? I thought you were gonna cut me open," he says, smirking, and Zara giggles, blushing slightly. "Oh, you know I wasn't. It's just your ego." He chuckles. "Oh, well, Kira shakes her head as she finishes telling Seth about their teamwork. Zara doesn't work well with me energy-wise. Then tells him to meditate and practice his breathing as she goes over to Mikhail. Hey, you know she really likes you. Don't be a jerk, she says and then walks back over to continue Seth's new daily training. Later that night Blaze lays awake with Kira. I think you're great with Seth and he likes you a lot too. Kira, maybe we could, you know, make our own. Tonight, he says to her. She looks over at him, eyes full of desire, but also some hesitation. I want to but not yet. He looks at her pleadingly. We've been married 5 years, if not for the war. We haven't even consummated our marriage yet either. Not in the physical anyway. Kira turns to face him, her expression softening. I know, and I'm sorry. I want to give you that. But I also want to make sure I'm ready. Tonight. Let's just hold each other, and maybe practice our mental connections again. Can we do that? He nudges her. Can we consummate our marriage in our minds at least? He asks. She grins, her expression pleased. Well, yes, of course we can. As they lie together, their minds begin to connect once more. It's different than before, more intimate somehow. The gentle caress of their minds flows over each other, a silent exchange of love and affection. And we have to be strong, so that we can protect our family when the time comes. Trust me, I got your back, she says. Wrapped in each other's arms as they feel satisfied in the ethereal. She grips Blaze tighter. If he tried and kept going, I wouldn't stop him. She thinks to herself as he embraces her lovingly. Their bodies relaxing, they quickly pass into sleep. As Zara watches them in secret, she can't help but to feel ashamed at her arousal, feeling their more private, intimate energy, despite the regret she feels for tainting Blaze and Kira's marriage. Please don't let us lose our son. I can't help him, but I know if anyone can, they can, she thinks tearfully as she returns to her body in the courtyard. She looks over as Mikhail sits on the mat nearby. It's not polite to spy, you know, he says with a hint of jealousy. Zara smirks. It's not like that. She then goes back to meditating. Kira's eyes snap open as she feels the faint tap on her mind of someone watching them. Her key begins to whirl and surge within her as she looks around, ready to defend herself and Blaze. However, her senses can't pinpoint the source. It's as if someone is obscuring their presence, she thinks. She lays her head back on Blaze's chest as the feeling vanishes. Blaze mumbles in his sleep. Kira reaches out with a weak invisible sensory energy bubble, searching for the intruder. As she focuses, she feels a surge of determination and strength. She softly gasps, her body tensing as she concentrates. Finally, she feels something. Suddenly alert, Kira slowly lifts her head from Blaze's chest, her eyes glowing with a strange energy. She scans the room, her gaze lingering on Zara's astral form. There's a brief moment of recognition, confusion, and then understanding passes between them. A chill runs down Kira's spine as she realizes that Zara isn't a threat, but rather someone in need of help. She hesitates for a moment, unsure if she should reveal her own fears to the other woman. As Kira lay there, she relaxes, letting her see into her mind, and Zara gasps at the revelation kneeling beside her. As the energy and intent washes over her, she listens as Zara speaks. I'm so sorry. The war affected you both in such ways. The sacrifice Blaze made, it hurt him to do. And then our leaders went back on our deal. I tried to warn them, but I found out too late. If we had known then, I know he'd have found a way to save at least some. You both tried and pushed through so much trying to save them. She pauses a moment, then continues. And I wish we had grown up together. We might not get along well, but you are my sister, much like Mikhail is Blaze's brother. I at least want us to be in each other's lives, if not I understand. Kira hears. Kira wipes tears away and looks at her with hurt in her eyes. Did you know he was my husband? Zara nods. Yes, I was aware. I never thought it would. I always thought, I don't know, that maybe we could have prevented it somehow. But now that we're here, she hesitates, taking a deep breath before continuing. Kira frowns, squeezing her eyes shut. Then why couldn't you have picked Mikhail instead of my husband? Zara's face takes a look of sadness and regret. Kira, you have to understand. I didn't choose Blaze because I wanted him. They chose him because he was the best match. He had the most pure energy of the two, the most resilience. At first he was unfocused, but with you they're astrally too. He was focused on you and the mission. And, They killed my fiancé when I did try to refuse. Kira hugs her sister in their mental space. I love you sis, she says tearing up. Dot dot. Dot dot. Dot dot. The next day Kira and Zara walk the courtyard taking mean but constructive shots at each other as Blaze and Mikhail watch on edge. Blaze glances at him, is that good or bad? Mikhail shrugs. They seem only slightly annoyed with each other so that's good, right? He says as he watches Zara. So, when you and Zara made Seth, what were you thinking about really? He asks Blaze as his own jealousy rises. Blaze scratches his head. I tried to focus on Kira but Zara just felt good to physically connect with. I just hope it's better with Kira when we do, he says. Mikhail suddenly feels his jealousy boil over, punching him in the face and drawing a glance from the women as Blaze falls over a chair. As he rubs his cheek in surprise, Kira coming over in front of them, glaring at Mikhail, crosses her arms. What the hell do you think you're doing? She demands. Tense pressure rushing to her chest as anger surges through her. Mikhail holds his hands up, backing away. Maybe ask him, he says as he walks off just as confused as everyone else. Blaze looks after him as Kira turns to him. What is he mad about? She asks. Blaze holds a hand up to his face to check for damage, rubbing his cheek softly. I don't know, Kira. I guess I said something stupid. He responds, looking awkward. Sensing he isn't being honest, she lets out a sigh. Blaze, why did Mikhail punch you? She asks, glaring at him, and he blurts out. I only said that I wish me and you had that physical connection like me and her had. Regretting it instantly as hurt and pain fill her eyes, Blaze rubs the back of his neck, feeling guilty. I'm sorry, Kira, I didn't mean for it to come out like that. It's just, he trails off, not wanting to make things worse. Look, let's just forget about it, okay? She slaps him across the face and then angrily storms off to go help Seth train. Zara looks at Blaze. You coulda lied, you know, she says, shaking her head. And, Blaze, what we did wasn't normal. It wasn't love or anything like that for me, and I know it wasn't for you. But Kira, she might not know or feel that way about it, she says to him. Sitting in the chair, he looks around at the castle walls. I didn't mean it like that. It's just, I wanted our first time to be our first time, and I worry and feel bad that it won't be for me like it is for her. I didn't mean I enjoyed it, he says, feeling his stomach tighten. Zara sighs. I'll go talk to her for you, okay? Just be careful with your words. I'll try and have her come talk to you. Don't worry though, I know she loves you. She just worries about losing you, she says, walking away. Blaze sighs, running a hand through his hair. Thanks, Zara, he murmurs, still feeling guilty. He watches as Zara approaches Kira. In the meantime, he tries to focus on helping Seth with his training as he comes over. By Seth's 8th birthday, he has almost mastered his energy control. Blaze and Kira watch as Seth practices his energy control for his exam to pass into the next stage. While he's concentrating, Seth notices a voice. I can help you control it better than they can. All you have to do is give permission and I can teach you, it says to him. Kira and Blaze are first to notice the shift. The world's energy is thrown into turmoil by a dark force. Looking around, unsure where it's coming from, Kira looks at Blaze. That can't be right. It feels like the day the darkness took you over, she says, confused. Suddenly the energy converges on Seth and there's a massive explosion of dark energy. The force blowing away the 200-foot walls of the castle and knocking everyone to the ground. Blaze shields them from the blast front, more prepared than he was years before. Her voice comes out scared and frail as she looks around through the dust and debris. Blaze, Mikhail, Zara, Seth. Please someone answer me, she cries out hoarsely. Blaze grunts as he rolls over, trying to dislodge the stones and rubble. His energy having protected him from most of the impact. Though it feels like his insides have been shaken up in a rock slide from the energy used. Groaning, he looks around, seeing Kira and the others with his sensing ability. Frantically looking around, he stumbles through the dust and rubble. Seth, where are you, Seth? He shouts, full of worry and fear. Just then a harsh wind blows away the obscuring dust and dirt as a voice rattles their bones. Seth is theirs now, he says as dark energy surrounds and obscures him, forming a wolf-like shadow creature. Blaze stares in disbelief and horror as the demon-possessed body of his son sneers at him hatefully. No, not my son. You can't have him. You bastards. He shouts, full of pain and fear. Kira grits her teeth as she watches Blaze struggle to move. Seeing that he's in pain, she looks over at the shadowy demon possessing Seth, filled with anger and dread. She focuses her own energy and projects it toward the demon. Seth, don't listen to them. Fight them, Seth. Don't give in. She says just before it clutches her neck in its hand, angrily crushing her limb tight, unable to breathe as she struggles to break free. Die. The creature shouts as it goes in for the kill. Blaze's eyes widen as he sees Kira struggling. He tries to move faster, but his limbs refuse to obey his commands. He fires off a surge of mental energy at the shadow creature that's possessing Seth. Let her go. In a flash, Seth is beside him, landing a hard kick to his side. The power of it almost breaking his arm through his defenses, he's blasted into the castle like a 1,000-pound bomb. As the creature turns back to Kira, Mocktail grabs it around its chest but is easily pulled away. A heavy fist impacting his face sends him tumbling in a spray of dirt and rock. Coming to a stop, he tries to get up and collapses in a dazed heap. Kira coughs violently, tasting blood in her throat. Her magic construct Lena flies to her side, trying to help her stand, but the demon holds the construct tight, keeping her away. Let her go. Wait, it can see and touch her. She thinks tackling the creature to the ground. Zara tries to help her, but they are thrown off as its aura explodes with energy in a monstrous roar. Dot. 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 The creature raises its head as a ball of energy appears, ripping at the environment like a black hole. Zara looks at Kira with tears in her eyes. Please. Please save our son, she cries in her mind over the roaring rush of wind and chaos. Kira continues to struggle against the demon, using whatever she can to try and weaken it as it toys with them. Gasping for breath in the wind tunnel-like effect, she focuses her remaining energy on projecting a powerful blast of energy, hoping to contain Seth in his possessed rampage. As she does so, her vision begins to blur and her strength begins fading quickly. I can't. I'm not strong enough. The wind stops as the energy ball vanishes. Zara tackles Kira out of the way as the creature tries to claw at her and they tumble to the dirt. Rolling to their feet, she projects, if we can't stop him, so many will die if he gets out of here. Kira, if we can't restrain him, she says in a fraction of a second as they dodge another swipe that impacts like a bomb blast. Near the ground, Mocktail appears through the residual energy and dust sweeping his legs. But the demon twists mid-air like a cat, striking with a solid straight to his ribs as he passes by underneath. A 5,000-pound blast-like impact breaking his bones. Coming to a stop in a pile of rubble, he coughs blood, struggling to breathe as a lung collapses. I can't move, I have to focus on my organs or I'm dead. I'm sorry guys, he pushes out in a thought wave of agony. Zara rushes to him and leaps away as a beam of energy sweeps by like a 100-foot-wide freight train, impacting as if it were a shaped charge, decimating several nearby cities and towns. As the beam sweeps over 30 miles, its damage widening with travel as nuke-like forces act in the distance, brightening the daytime sky. The energy more uncontrolled at range. Dot. 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 All those people. And it's not a demon in there. It's just him. I thought he had changed, but Zara pushes out to everyone. I should have told you all sooner. It's not his fault. What they did to him. What they did to all of us. Kira. Mercy. Seth. She says. In Seth's mind, the demons run in terror as the demon to offer guidance is ripped apart. I don't think so, Seth says through the roaming portal within the infinite darkness. In fact, let me do what Shadow Seed failed to do. We can rule the world. Kira loses her breath as everything sounds off and far away. Kira, no. I can help him. We can help him. Don't. Our boy Kira. Blaze in her mind shouts me as Seth holds him down and is about to strike. I promise you, Blaze, I'll make it up to you someday. Just, please don't hate me, she says tearfully. I could never hate you. It would just hurt more. He projects faster than the strike can land and she feels his energy aligned with her own despite his pain and protests. She becomes focused and is regretful as that day 8 years ago. I'll preserve his honor and no one will know he was the one. For Blaze, for him, and I'm so sorry, my sweet boy. If there's a creator, please forgive us and forgive him. Forbidden art of the dog is white Blaze. Dot. The news reports over the next week talk of the unspeakable tragedy as over 300,000 were gone in an instant. It was that monster from around 8 years ago during the war. Good riddance to that unaffiliated outlier. May the peace and prosperity in this new world reign as we mourn those lost. And praise those that intervened for our sakes. And the magic that helped. Another reporter breaks in with footage as some had caught part of the battle through the energies and random travelers able to record the events. Kira is labeled a hero as she is seen by observers vaporizing the aggressing creature, completely leaving no identifiable trace at great injury and risk to herself. Blaze was released from service under dishonorable discharge, officially labeled for his seeming cowardice in the face of a world threat. Though the truth was buried deep within military files, labeled as too unstable for public knowledge. Even the spy watching didn't know the whole truth as he regained consciousness hours later, his injuries not as severe as they'd first seemed. His face badly burned and scarred, he puts up his hood to hide his injuries. Now I have to keep an eye on him. Can't say I don't feel for the child. Not so much the parents though. He thinks. Dot. 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 A week after the rampage, Blaze finally opens his eyes, and for the first time he finds himself alone in bed, as he walks around the castle. He sees the grounds and walls look perfect as if nothing had happened. He finds Kira and the others sitting in the dining hall silently as he comes through the entryway. Please tell me he's okay," he asks, pleading as his emotions hit everyone like a ton of bricks. Kira lowers her head. I'm so sorry, Blaze. I didn't know what else to do. He wasn't even possessed. He learned from us. To learn how to kill us." She whispers softly, crying. She gasps as she reaches out with her mind to comfort him, and he snaps a barrier over his aura, almost severing their connection completely. "Blaze," she whispers. He shakes his head. I just need some time," he says, losing his breath. "Just, please, be here when I come back," he tells her, as for the first time since they met, she can't feel his energy with hers, feeling cold as she nods, unable to speak. He takes a deep breath, feeling the weight on his heart grow heavier, and wipes his face before quietly excusing himself. The last thing he wants to do is push her away, but he can't take it. Not now, not yet. As he hugs Zara to mourn the loss of their son, Kira feels even worse as Zara says, "Don't blame Kira. I told her to do it, Blaze. I should have told you sooner," she says to him, and then he goes out to the courtyard to sit alone. Kira doesn't move as her chest aches. She wants to go after him, to comfort him, to hold him. But as he starts to cry, rain begins to fall as his cries of agony and loss cause them all to cringe and break down. Dot dot. Dot dot. Dot dot. Several days later, after a funeral service is held, they say their farewells to Zara and Maki. As they leave Zara's castle, Blaze still can't quite look at Kira as she tries to comfort him. As she walks though, she feels him open up a little, not a lot but enough to feel his energy. Kira remains at Blaze's side, gently guiding him as they travel together toward the capital. The journey is long and arduous. Dot. Dot. As they walk, she occasionally reaches out with her mind, careful not to overstep boundaries, hoping to offer some comfort or reassurance. Dot. Dot. They approach an area next to a small stream to make camp, a day's walk from Zara's castle as the sun begins to set over the forbidden forest nearby. Kira sits at the fire cooking as she looks over at Blaze. "Do you want anything else in this, or just salt and pepper with lemon juice?" she asks as the chicken simmers. Blaze sits on the other side of the fire, his expression still clouded by loss and guilt. He turns his head slightly to face her. I don't know, whatever you usually make it with, I guess. I'm not really very hungry, to be honest. My stomach's just." She looks at him pleadingly. "Blaze, please. You haven't eaten in days, you need something." He looks at her moment. "'Tis written, man shall not live on bread alone but by the word of the Father who art in heaven. If he wants me to eat, I will. I just don't feel like I deserve to. I was too weak, and of all people, you were forced to kill because I was too weak and couldn't fight or help much," he says, hanging his head. Kira nods slowly, her expression softening as she understands where he's coming from. She sets aside the cooking spoon and crosses the small distance between them, sitting down beside him. "Blaze," she says gently, taking his hand in hers. "You can't blame yourself for that." He shakes his head. "I'll try not to." She then says, "And if God thinks you should eat, he could give us a sign somehow, and if he does, you have to eat." "Deal," she says to him. "Deal," he says as they shake on it. As they shake, a loud crack of thunder rumbles across the clear sky, startling them as the sound vibrates everything around, cascading with a strange, muffled, almost mechanical rumble and banging. Kira laughs nervously. Maybe that was him. Not chancing it, Blaze takes some food and they eat, listening to the sounds of nature, the crackling of the fire and the sound of the stream providing a soothing background. As Kira watches him, she remembers something Lena had told her. Hey Blaze, Lena told me something earlier. There's a special herb that's supposed to help with, He nods a little, looking at her curiously. Help with what? She said it would help you sleep better, or, I don't know, maybe lift your spirits a little. She called it Golden Dreams. Do you want me to go look for some? He shrugs. Let's go find some together, he says and grins a little, seeing Kira smile. Sure, I'll grab the basket, it's not far from here either, she tells him as she bends over into the tent. Blaze glances at her cute backside, feeling himself get excited as she retrieves the basket in a light travel pack. Come on, let's go see what we can find, she says, offering her hand. Blaze takes it, feeling his body respond to the contact, and stands up with a sigh. Alright, lead the way, he says, adjusting his katana. They walk through the forest in silence, searching for the herb Lena mentioned. Blaze looks at her as her knight's sword scrapes a tree. Who was that one lady that Seth attacked as she tried to help you up? He asks. Oh, that was Zara, Kira says, lying with a sigh, the memories of that day fresh in her mind. She's one of my training partners. A year older than me. Really talented with swords. You fight with those too? Blaze asks, a note of surprise in his voice. She looks at him. You just saw me use them too. She stops as she sees tears in his eyes. He sniffles. I know. Can we just not talk about that anymore? Please, he says, wiping his tears away. She nods, understanding his pain. Of course, she says softly, squeezing his hand. We can talk about anything else you want. As they walk, Blaze puts his hand across her chest, gently stopping her. Don't look away from that, see me not, right there, he says, looking at the 6-foot-tall humanoid creature. Its pillaged business suit blends into the dark. Its round eyeless head's top splits, revealing a circle of shark-like teeth. Kira turns her head towards it. Aren't those the ones that teleport to attack when you don't look at them? She asks Blaze. Yeah, why? You know that. She grabs his arm as he stares at the creature. Cause 3 more just showed and they're spreading out. I thought these things were rare, she says as another appears closer than the rest 20 feet away. He scoffs. They're supposed to be. This doesn't make sense. This isn't even their territory, he says. She shakes her head. Who knows? Maybe they're just looking for a good fight. I've heard stories of them following adventurers around for sport. She draws her sword and takes a fighting stance. Either way, we should be prepared. Blaze squints and sends a time-dilated mental message. They eat people and hunt them for sport. They aren't looking for a good fight. They want lunch, which will be us if we don't get out of here before they notice us. Kira looks at Blaze, then back at the Simi Knots. They quicken their pace, heading deeper. Stealth is key right now, so talk to me through our minds. Remember, they can only jump 10 to 15 feet at a time, he says, then asks. The way from camp was clear, so where did they come from? Kira thinks for a moment as she speeds up, pushing through the thick, reeking vegetation of the forest swamp. I'm not sure. They didn't seem to be here before either. Maybe they're scouting something else in the area, she suggests, her mind racing to come up with a plan. Blaze hears a choked gasp from Kira. Turning, he finds a Simi knot. One hand around her throat as the other grabs her sword arm tightly. Its mouth open wide, about to eat her head, he swings with his blade, cutting its neck. Kira gasps, backstepping as she coughs and wipes blood from her eyes. The sudden attack has her heart racing, but she's grateful for Blaze's quick action. She nods at him, gesturing for them to keep moving. Before they can recover, another 3 attack them. Blaze quickly reacted, using his speed to dodge the slashes and stabs of the Simi knots. He feels Kira's presence in his mind, and together they coordinate their movements, anticipating the enemy's attacks and striking with deadly efficiency. Kira feels a wave of relief wash over her as they finally dispose of the last one, but it's short-lived. We need to keep moving. She shakes her head. It's too dark. Worse than this comes out then. Let's use that cave over there, she says, and he nods, following her. As they duck inside, the darkness envelops them and he can barely make out her form. Kira, he whispers, shish. Let's use our magic to light the way and make camp inside, she says mentally. With Lena's help, Kira focuses on creating a soft glow that illuminates the cave without revealing their exact location. The pair set up camp, carefully avoiding anything that might attract unwanted attention. I don't like being in this forest. She looks over at Blaze as he sits facing the entrance and moves over to him, wrapping him in a hug. Blaze's arms wrap around hers as he returns the embrace, saying, "Thanks for your help back there. I feel like I'm just getting in your way," he whispers, voice filled with self-doubt. Kira shakes her head, holding onto him tighter. "No, Blaze, you saved me from the first one and we worked together with the rest. I couldn't do that without you. I couldn't do a lot without you. We've done so much more together than apart," she says, tearing up. "And Blaze, come get some sleep, okay? I'll take care of us tonight," she says, pulling him to the cot they made. Blaze nods slowly, wiping his eyes. "Okay, thanks, Kira." With a deep breath, he tries to focus on relaxing. Sleep eventually finds him, but it's fitful and restless. Kira looks at Lena. "Are you sure you're okay watching over us tonight?" she asks her. Lena nods confidently. "Don't you worry, Kira. I've been taking care of you too for a long time. I won't let anything happen." She smiles reassuringly, her form glowing softly with magic. "Thank you, Lena," Kira says as she crawls under the blanket with Blaze. He dreams restlessly, his mind filled with images of battle, executions and loss. The soft glow of Lena's magic illuminates the cave, casting a soothing light across the rough stone walls. Even in his dreams, he can suddenly feel Kira's warmth beside him. "It's okay, I'm here. Be here with me," she says, holding him as she reaches out with her astral form and kisses him in their dreamscape. "Focus on me, okay? And I have a good friend and student of mine here keeping watch. She's really beautiful and great too," she tells him as she winks at Lena. In the dreamscape, Blaze opens up to her slightly more as he kisses her neck and they make love, their physical bodies resting peacefully in each other's arms. Throughout the night, Lena maintains her vigilant watch over Kira and Blaze, sensing their intimate activities within their mind and blushing. "Not like I'm a stranger to it. Though I wasn't like this yet. How did I get a body people can see and touch? One of life's great mysteries," she thinks to herself. Dot. 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 Blaze wakes to find Kira cooking over a small fire and smiles seeing her. Kira, concentrating on cooking, glances over at Blaze with a warm smile. "Good morning, sleepyhead. I hope you slept well." She turns back to the fire, her movements flowing as she stirs a pot of porridge. Blaze rubs his eyes and sits up, stretching. "Morning, Kira, your turn for cooking breakfast again," he says with a yawn. As he watches her, he can't help but notice the way her form seems to flow gracefully as she moves around the camp. After their breakfast, he hugs her from behind, careful not to startle her as he kisses her neck. Kira jumps a little at the sudden kiss, but then relaxes into it, returning it with equal affection. Morning," she murmurs, turning in his arms to face him. They stay there, in each other's arms, for several moments, their lips moving slowly against each other's as they share their affection. Kira moans softly, lost in the sensations. Her arms moving up to rest on Blaze's shoulders, feeling his strength and warmth. As they continue their loving embrace, the sun begins to rise, its light not visible within the cave just yet. Despite the presence of the dreamlike Lena floating nearby, they are oblivious to her existence as she stays invisible, their attention solely focused on each other. Blaze kisses her lips softly, then raises an eyebrow as Kira says, "My friend told me about this thing I kinda wanted to try." He smiles, saying, "You mean the herbs?" She blushes deeply as she remembers their mission. "Oh, right, that herb. That's one thing, but the other I think you'll like," she says, kissing his neck, rolling him over into his back. He grins, his eyes filled with desire. "Oh, I'm intrigued," he murmurs. His hands slide slowly up her side, slipping under the fabric of her shirt. He pulls back just enough to gaze into her eyes. Lena watches from the shadows, transfixed by the interaction between Kira and Blaze. The emotions running rampant through them as they give into their desires are thrilling and pique her interest. Dot. Sometime later they lay in their cot. "Kira," he asks her as they embrace. She mumbles as she looks at him, their faces only inches apart. He hesitates. Lena, sensing the shifting emotions in the air, watches closely as she nervously picks at her nails, wondering what might be on his mind. Suddenly, a strong emotion washes over her, and she realizes that he is about to open up to her creator. He looks at Kira with a strange sadness in his eyes. "Don't take this the wrong way, but I know you were only Seth's aunt by blood and his godmother. And I know over the last few years you got close to him too. And I'm so sorry that we couldn't save him. I wasn't strong enough and you were forced to use those swords. Just promise not to use them unless it's absolutely necessary." They're dangerous in the dark blade. It can let a demon into cause of its dark energy. Dot.